Hello, friends. Thank you for being here. Today I'd like to speak with you about something that cannot be spoken. Something most people rush past, fill in, or fear. Something simple, yet sacred. Silence. In our world, silence is often seen as emptiness, an absence, a void, something awkward to escape. But in Buddhism, silence is never empty. Silence is alive. It listens. It reveals. It teaches. Today, let's explore what happens when we stop talking and start listening to silence. There's a space, right now, between this sentence and the next. Did you feel it? That pause, that stillness, is where awareness lives. Words carry meaning, but silence carries presence. In Buddhist teachings, the space between words is as important as the words themselves. The Buddha often paused before speaking. He would look, breathe, and feel the moment. And in those pauses, truth could arise more clearly than in speech. You don't always need more words to understand. You sometimes need fewer. Let silence complete the sentence. When I was younger, I often rushed to fill silence, afraid of what it might reveal. But over time, I found that the quiet said things I had never thought to ask. And once we begin to notice the silence between words, we may realize something even deeper. Silence is not just something we sit in, it's something we offer. Most people think of listening as something we do with our ears, but deep listening, the kind that transforms relationships, begins in silence. To truly listen to another, we must become quiet inside, not waiting to reply, not crafting a response, just receiving. When the mind is silent, the heart opens. In Buddhism, this is called compassionate listening. It's not passive. It's not pretending to agree. It's the act of holding space without judgment. When you stop speaking and quiet your inner commentary, you allow someone else's truth to rise. Sometimes the most healing thing you can say is, nothing. There was a time when a dear friend came to me in pain. I had no wisdom to offer, so I just sat with him. Later, he told me it was the most seen he had ever felt. It was then I realized, silence can be love. This kind of listening, deep, quiet, and open, is something many spiritual traditions practice. But nowhere is it more central than in the monastery. In Buddhist monasteries, silence is not a punishment. It's a path. Many communities observe noble silence, a period of intentional quiet, where no one speaks unless truly necessary. At first, it feels strange, uncomfortable even, but slowly, something shifts. You start to notice your footsteps, the sound of your breath, the rustling of leaves, the way emotions rise and fall like waves. Without conversation, the inner dialogue becomes louder, then softer. Silence becomes a mirror. It shows you your restlessness, and then reveals your peace. My first days in noble silence were difficult. My thoughts shouted louder than any voice. But in time, the silence grew softer. And so did I. And when we begin to soften, we also begin to discern. We realize that silence isn't just for meditation cushions or monasteries. It's a response we can choose, moment to moment. Not every situation needs a reply. Not every comment needs correction. Not every conflict needs engagement. Sometimes the wisest thing you can do is stay silent. This is not avoidance. It's discernment. The Buddha said, "Speak only when your words are more beautiful than silence." Silence can protect your peace. It can prevent harm. It can be an act of compassion for yourself and for others. And sometimes it is silence that speaks the loudest truth. I once stayed silent when criticized unjustly, not out of fear, but because I saw their pain. In that silence, I learned something deeper than defense could ever teach. But silence doesn't always mean saying nothing. Sometimes it means tuning in to what's beneath the noise, to the deeper hum that surrounds us all. Silence is not the absence of sound. It's the presence of something deeper. In the forest, monks don't only listen to birds or wind. They listen to the space between those sounds. In that space, the mind begins to soften. The breath slows. The heart remembers itself. This kind of silence holds you. It hums gently beneath all things. It's the background music of your existence. Even in a noisy world, this silence is always here, waiting for you to return. It is the stillness beneath the noise. I remember lying beneath the stars, listening not to what I could hear, but to what was beneath the hearing. That night, I didn't learn anything new. I simply remembered who I was. And the beauty is, you don't need a quiet forest or starry sky to return to that space. Silence is always available, even in the middle of a busy day. You don't need a monastery or a mountain to find silence. You can create it, right here, right now. A few quiet breaths before a meeting, a peaceful moment before replying to a message, a walk without headphones, a meal without a screen. These moments may seem small, but they reset the nervous system, calm the mind, and remind you of who you are beneath the noise. Try making silence part of your daily rhythm. Let it become your sanctuary. Even now I pause before I speak, not just for clarity, but because in that pause, I often hear the teaching I didn't know I needed. There is a kind of knowing that doesn't need words, a kind of healing that happens in stillness, a kind of wisdom that grows in silence. Let silence be your teacher. Let it hold you. Let it speak to you, not with sound, but with presence. And in your moments of quiet, may you find what so many are still searching for: peace. If this teaching supported you, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who might need a little stillness in their day. Until next time, speak less, listen more, and let the silence teach you.